I approach this Trubisky news like this. The Steelers now have Trubisky and Pickett under contract through the 2025 season. You've got the 5th-year option on Pickett's rookie contract for the 2026 season. And I look to see what the players are saying. And what does Kenny Pickett say about Mitch Trubisky? Saying he's like an extra coach for me. Told that to Ben Roethlisberger on Seven's podcast, Ike. So this to me says, okay, these two guys can work together, be grown adults in the quarterback room. And then if and when the Steelers need to go to Trubisky, if there's injury to Pickett, you have a capable backup behind him. That's how I view this news. What say you, Ike Taylor?
Man, you got 2 first-round draft picks sitting in one room. That's how I look at it. It don't get no better for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but another first-round draft pick is the backup. And he understands going from Chicago to Buffalo to the Pittsburgh Steelers, how things are ran. What I mean by that, Mark, is it's a real live brotherhood. It's an organization, and when you come to Pittsburgh, you really see why Pittsburgh was winning all them Super Bowls. You really see when people come from other teams why they want to retire as a Pittsburgh Steelers, not a team that drafted him. So Mitch saw what it was. I'm sure Mitch felt some kind of way when they wound up just putting Kenny Pickett in, but now he sees how good Kenny Pickett is. Now he see the growth and development of Kenny Pickett. Like, you know what? He is the chosen one. You know, so from my standpoint, I think this is a great signing. 3 years, you become now, if anything happens to Kenny Pickett, you step in. You already been in the city for a year. You check the market. You ain't like what's on the market coming to you. And you're like, you know what? I do like the city of Pittsburgh. I do like Coach T and the coaching staff. I do like the organization. And I see why people always come back to this organization. Or even if people wasn't drafted, thank you. Even if people wasn't drafted by this organization, I see why they retire as a Pittsburgh Steelers. So for me, bringing Mitch back it says a lot about Mitch, who just wants to come back, to be honest with you. Mitch could have went a whole different route. He could have went a route that, hey, I want to be a starter for another team. But Mitch was like, nah, I'm just going to come back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I see what this young man could be. He could be special. And I'm talking about Kenny Pickett. So for me, Mark, just talking about Mitchell Trubisky, it says a lot about Mitchell Trubisky and his mindset. And we talk about confidence. We talk about reality. We talk about the truth. He hit all 3 of them above. So Pittsburgh got, 2 first rounders sitting in that quarterback room. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and I just look at it like this too, Ike. So he was due $8 million this year with this extension. It'll be a little bit more than 6, but he extends the length of his contract. And I don't want to wish, I hope Kenny Pickett starts 17 games in the regular season for the next decade plus, right? But the reality is Pickett's coming off a season where he had 2 concussions. So when he gets hurt, you've then got to go to the backup. You've got to have a capable backup to where the backup comes in and there's not a noticeable drop-off in the NFL. And there's a lot of teams that aren't able to do that once their starter's down. Season's over, right? And for many, many teams, they're not able to do that. Now, with the money that you're paying Mitch Trubisky, they're paying him like one of the best backups, if not among the elite level of say, hey, if Pickett gets hurt, there can't be a drop off when Trubisky comes in. That's how they're paying him. But then again, to be able to work together, to be professional and to be in the quarterback room and for Trubisky to teach Pickett things that maybe he wished he had earlier on in his career when he was young and up and coming. And the next big thing as a quarterback is the number 2 overall pick back in the day with the Bears.
So that's what I'm saying, Mark. What other football team in the NFL can say they got 2 first rounders sitting in the quarterback room? Not now.
Off the top of my head, Ike, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I'm talking about started over 40 games. As a first rounder. So that's what I'm saying. Like Pittsburgh, Omar Khan, Artis, and Coach T, them two. Omar Khan, Artis, and Coach T, man, I don't know how they be doing this, but just like over this offseason, Now you talking about being Houdini. Them boys been pulling a rabbit out the hat all the time. Like, usually a magician only got one rabbit in the hat. They done pulled 12 rabbits out the hat, out of one hat. And that's what they doing. So it's just, bro, but you gotta start off with the Roonies. When you now, Mark, that I'm in the front office and I see how the Roonies move, and I see how they let coaches be coaches and players be players. I'm like, now I get why I was a pallbearer. Now I get why I can, the door always open. When you the CEO, when you're the owner of a team, and your door always open, and the players feel like they can talk and chat with you. You give everybody a little something for Christmas, and players' wives' names and kids' names, and you're like, hey, he ain't even got to know my name. He can just know my last name, but he know my wife's name. He know my kid's name. Like it's just a little bit different in Pittsburgh, Mark, and it starts off with them. So I'm sure Mitch coming from one organization to the next organization to Pittsburgh, he was like, and I'm sure he had these pillow talks. We talk about the pillow talks. He had a lot of these pillow talks with his wife. It was like, and I'm sure she had something to do with it. Like Pittsburgh home, they don't need to go nowhere. Like they go as much as the truth hurts. Anybody, man, woman, boy, girl, they're gonna tell you the truth, and it's just on you if you want to accept it or not. And he didn't hear the truth, and he accepted it. So, 2 first rounders sitting in one room. That's unheard of. Well, I had it before. I had Big Ben and Byron Leftwich. Mm-hmm. This is what Pittsburgh do. Like people just find a way to come to Pittsburgh. So, and you saw Bleav, Byron Leftwich gave me the best of everything in practice. Like it was a game to me. So when I got in the game, it wasn't a game because I'm getting a game in practice from Byron Leftwich. Charlie Batch. Same thing. Started for Detroit. Plenty of years. Had one. He really started off one of the big contracts. To be honest, guaranteed. So Pittsburgh just always find a way with the backups. People. Pittsburgh just attract. It's that man. I heard Pittsburgh was good. Let me go test it out. And they wind up coming, Mark. So. Charlie Batch, Byron Leftwich, and from that point on, man, everything. When I got Bleav, everything was easy for me. And me and Bleav, had some great conversations. Like, hey, Bleav, don't throw the fade, don't throw the high fade, throw the back shoulder fade. He was like, why? I said, man, because I'm just scouting myself, and I know teams. They're going to start throwing a back shoulder fade because I'm playing a number of receivers. So between the quarterback and the receiver, if they got a good relationship, this is what they're doing. And I remember clearly, and you can ask Coach T. We should have asked him when he was on the show. Coach T got into the meeting the next day. He was like, Ike, why are you in front of everybody? He was like, Ike, why you and Bleav got your own thing going? And I explained to Coach T what I just told you. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, fellas, that's what you call a professional. When somebody can scout their own self and know what's going on. And I'm like, man, I appreciate that. But when I got the games, when we had Byron Leftwich, when we got the real games on Sundays, Thursdays, on Mondays, Mark, like, it really won a game because I had Bleav. So, and now, for the guys who want to get better, on defense, you got a starter. You got a first-round draft pick. He just so happened to be a backup of Mitch Trubisky. So that's a lot of value to the team. So shout out to Mitch.
Ike, let me get the last word in here. You mentioned Omar Khan, nicknaming him the con artist here. I owe this to our listeners and viewers. Petty Marks coming out early on today's show. This is something I noticed, Ike. They signed Mason Rudolph to the contract extension before they signed Mitch to the contract extension. Now, Mason's is a 1-year deal. I'm not faulting him for wanting to have employment. He was still a free agent. Couldn't help but notice that, and I don't know if that was part of the negotiation with Omar Khan and company. Just something I noticed, Ike.
Listen, what I really want to say, I can't say right now because they'll smash the heck out of me. BetOnline will smash the heck out.
Listen, I'll say it for you.
Hey, listen, BetOnline will smash the hell out of me. Bleav will smash the hell out of me. And you'll be doing just this right here. You'll be laughing like hell.